Spread the faith. God love you all. May God bless America, and may God protect our church. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And church, it's so good to be with you. I'm so excited that it's Youth Sunday. I didn't realize that. So here's what I'm going to speak to the youth. I'm going to speak to the youth. So, you know, I grew up in the church. I grew up in 23rd Avenue Church of God in Oakland, California. And I learned that to really be true to the teachings of Christ, one must think of our faith as a verb, meaning that it is not only about our faith and our words, it is about our actions and our deeds. And I was raised by a mother who was very tough. My mother was all of 5 feet tall, but if you had ever met her, you would have thought she was 10 feet tall. And she would say many things, and she'd say, your life, if you are true to your faith and your belief about what is right and your power, and if you know your power, then you will live your life, whatever profession you choose, in a way that is about service to others. That you will understand that the greatest strength you have will be measured, and I'm going to now contrast it with some people now currently in the White House. Your strength will not be measured by who you beat down. Your strength will be measured by who you lift up. That's the sign of strength, who you lift up. My mother would say, don't you ever let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. She would say to me, because I know I'm saying this to you, she would say to me, Kamala, you may be the first to do many things. Make sure you're not the last. And I was telling Pastor earlier that the way I was raised like many of us were, that if you ever came home in our house complaining about anything, my mother would look at you with a straight face, maybe one hand on a hip, and she would say, well, what are you going to do about it? So I decided to run for president of the United States. But to keep my comments brief, I would like to say this, and especially to our young leaders. You must always remember your power to lead, and remember that you never have to ask anyone for permission to leave. When you are prepared to lead, you just lead. And you do that empowered by the love of Christ. You do it in a way that you understand your power. And remember always the teachings, including in the book of Luke, about the parable of the Good Samaritan. Because Jesus is telling us then about, yes, we must love thy neighbor, but let's define and be clear about who is our neighbor. Our neighbor is not just the person that lives next door. It's not just the person who drives the same kind of car we drive, or their kids are at the same school that we're at, or they share the same zip code we do. No. We learn and know everybody is our neighbor, including that man by the side of the road who may be afflicted, who may have been rejected, who may be someone who has experienced harm. And what our God teaches us through the teachings of Christ is that if we are going to be true to what we know, which is that we are all God's children, then that's how we define our neighbor. And that might be that refugee who is trying to leave one of the murder capitals of the world. It might be that brother and sister from the Bahamas who are trying to come over on a ferry with their child who is a toddler and should not be rejected. It may be that senior who right now is trying to decide whether they can afford to fill their prescription or fill their refrigerator. It might be that person who we know is looking at the fact that our children have to go to school each day and endure these drills where they're learning about gun violence and they're experiencing trauma when they should be learning. It is about us standing up and saying always that to be true to our faith and live our faith, we must lift up everyone, knowing that is the strength God gave us. And to be true to our faith and to live through the teachings of Christ. It is about who we lift up, knowing everybody is our neighbor and we are all God's children. And I thank you all, everybody, for the work that you do here at this church. It's extraordinary work that you do in service. And thank you for this moment. God bless. Thank you.
I mean it, especially those moments, and especially for those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb. The African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours. I said at the outset, I wanted to represent this campaign to represent and look like America. We've done that. Now that's what I want the administration to look like and act like. For all those of you who voted for President Trump, I understand the disappointment tonight. I've lost a couple times myself, but now let's give each other a chance. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies. They are Americans. They're Americans. The Bible tells us, to everything there is a season, a time to build, a time to reap, and a time to sow, and a time to heal. This is the time to heal in America. Now this campaign is over. What is the will of the people? What is our mandate? I believe it's this. Americans have called upon us to marshal the forces of decency, the forces of fairness, to marshal the forces of science and the forces of hope in the great battles of our time. The battle to control the virus, the battle to build prosperity, the battle to secure your family's health care, the battle to achieve racial justice and root out systemic racism in this country, and the battle to save our planet by getting climate under control, the battle to restore decency, defend democracy, and give everybody in this country a fair shot. That's all they're asking for, a fair shot. Folks, our work begins with getting COVID under control. We cannot repair the economy, restore our vitality, or relish life's most precious moments, hugging our grandchildren, our children, our birthdays, weddings, graduations, all the moments that matter most to us until we get it under control. On Monday, I will name a group of leading scientists and experts as transition advisors to help take the Biden-Harris COVID plan and convert it into an action blueprint that will start on January the 20th, 2021. That plan will be built on bedrock science. It will be constructed out of compassion, empathy, and concern. I will spare no effort, none, or any commitment to turn around this pandemic. Folks, I'm a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. I'll work as hard for those who didn't vote for me as those who did. Let this grim era of demonization in America begin to end here and now. The refusal of Democrats and Republicans to cooperate with one another, it's not some mysterious force beyond our control. It's a decision, a choice we make. And if we can decide not to cooperate, then we can decide to cooperate. And I believe that this is part of the mandate given to us from the American people. They want us to cooperate in their interest. And that's the choice I'll make. And I'll call on Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, to make that choice with me. The American story is about slow yet steadily widening the opportunities in America. And make no mistake, too many dreams have been deferred for too long. We must make the promise of the country real for everybody, no matter their race, their ethnicity, their faith, their identity, or their disability. Folks, America has always been shaped by inflection points, by moments in time where we've made hard decisions about who we are and what we want to be. Lincoln in 1860, coming to save the Union. FDR in 1932, promising a beleaguered country a new deal. JFK in 1960, pledging a new frontier. And 12 years ago, when Barack Obama made history, he told us, yes, we can. Well, folks, we stand at an inflection point. We have an opportunity to defeat despair, to build a nation of prosperity and purpose. We can do it. I know we can. I've long talked about the battle for the soul of America. We must restore the soul of America. Our nation is shaped by the constant battle between our better angels and our darkest impulses. And what presidents say in this battle matters. It's time for our better angels to prevail. Tonight, the whole world is watching America. And I believe at our best, America is a beacon for the globe. We will lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. I've always believed, many of you heard me say it, I've always believed we can define America in one word: possibilities. That, in America, everyone should be given an opportunity to go as far as their dreams and God-given ability will take them. You see, I believe in the possibilities of this country. We're always looking ahead to an America that's freer and more just, ahead to an America that creates jobs with dignity and respect, ahead of America that cures diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, ahead to an America that never leaves anyone behind, ahead of America that never gives up, never gives in. This is a great nation. It's always been a bad bet to bet against America. We're a good people. This is the United States of America, and there's never been anything we've been not able to do when we've done it together. Folks, in the last days of the campaign, I began thinking about a hymn that means a lot to me and my family, particularly my deceased son, Bo. It captures the faith that sustains me and which I believe sustains America. And I hope it can provide some comfort and solace to 230,000 Americans who've lost a loved one to this terrible virus this year. My heart goes out to each and every one of you. Hopefully this hymn gives you solace as well. And it goes like this: and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, and make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. And now together, on eagle's wings, we embark on the work that God and history have called upon us to do, with full hearts and steady hands, with faith in America and in each other, with love of country, a thirst for justice. Let us be the nation that we know we can be, a nation united, a nation strengthened, a nation healed. The United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, there's never been anything we've tried we've not been able to do. So remember, as our grandpapa used to say when I walked out of his home when I was a kid up in Scranton, he said, "Joey, keep the faith." And our grandmother, when she was alive, she yelled, "No, Joey, spread it. Spread the faith. God love you all. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops." Thank you, thank you, thank you.